Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am your host USS Endeavor. We are in the Tier 7 German Battlecruiser tech tree Zieten. It's a really fun ship. It's got some unique features that you haven't seen quite yet. A lot of upgrades, a little bit of a couple of differences. So we'll go over all of that in the stats. Game code is down below if you'd rather skip to the gameplay straight ahead. So let's take a look at the commander. It's awfully familiar if you've been around for this whole series, but if you haven't, we'll take a quick look at what we're going to be playing. We have Otto Ciliax at the helm. He is a free commander, but got a big rework. As you can see in the second and third perk slots, he has some unique features that increase the range of the secondaries, increase the damage, and the fire chance. And that's why we also have Fuso as one of our inspirations, which also boosts that HE shell fire chance across the board, including secondaries. But we'll go over that in a minute. Here in the mod slots, we have the secondary mod in the first and fourth slots, with the propulsion mod and concealment mod in the second and third slots, respectively. So moving on to the actual consumables themselves. 5 damage controls. So you don't have an unlimited amount with this line, which is a little unfortunate, and why Ciliax got a rework, and we're using one of those perk slots to increase the amount that we actually get, along with the 5 heals and the 3 secondary reload boosters. And in the last one, we have the sonar, which has extended to 5.6 detection for ships. The torpedo detectability of 3.8 is nice, and you have 2 charges of it. Really good duration, almost 2 minutes, makes this a menace for up-close destroyers that you will see in this match. On to the survivability. It has 42,900, just shy of 43,000, with a 22% torpedo damage reduction. It's back up to 22, and so that's going to really help for getting in close. It helps to reduce any torpedo strikes that you may get. Onto the artillery, and I know there's a lot going on this page, but one thing I want to point out is that the main battery lineup and armament has shifted. You only have 6 guns. However, they've been increased from the 380s all the way up to 406s, and the reload time has drastically reduced down to 22.5 seconds, which is really nice. But you only have 6 shells, so you got to keep that in mind. HE damage and fire chance, as you can see, is decent, with a 40.5% chance to set fires. AP shell damage is a little over 12,000. Your secondary armament, you got a whole bunch of them. They extend out to 11.6, which is the bread and butter of this line. 2.7 second reload and 6.9, but the fire chance, you got 10%. Almost every 3 seconds, you got a 10% chance to set a fire, and on the larger caliber ones, you have a 13% chance at roughly 7 seconds. So great secondary armament. This is where it matters. The torpedoes are a longer range, 7.5 kilometers. The speed is 56 knots, so not very fast. You do get 4 of them on either side when you've upgraded the ship with the blueprints. So you've got 4, like I said, 4 on either side. They're really, really handy. You got good firing angles. So torpedoes, excellent. The AA defense is also decent. It's respectable. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It can kind of get you out of jam, but they don't start kicking in until 4.5 clicks, and you don't get the full effect until they're 3 kilometers away. Onto the maneuverability. 31 knots is really good for for a battleship. The 820 meter turning circle radius is not the greatest, and with a rudder shift time of 15.3 seconds, this thing is not maneuverable, but it is a little bit faster than normal. On to the concealment, 12.7 kilometers by sea, 10.6 by air, and firing and smoke, which I never advise in a battleship, is 14.3. Concealment's not too bad. 12.7 by sea, that's pretty respectable, and we get that from the third slot where we use the concealment mod. Onto my ship stats. I don't have a lot of battles in it, but 52%, just a little over a coin flip that I win. But it's a fun ship. I don't really care about winning or losing. Just having fun is the name of the game. Onto the armor. We now have a 27 millimeter bow, which will bounce 15-inch shells, or 380s, as you can see right there. Anything that's in that yellow at 27 millimeters and higher will bounce AP at 380, which are 15 inches. Onto the casemate armor on the top deck. As you can see, we've got a 60 millimeter deck, which is actually really awesome. And then, but that blue section, which is below, if you get plunging fire right down through that, that's where your main turret is. So it'll probably get knocked out before it hits the citadel. But you could technically get a lucky strike right through the bow, but it'd have to kind of be it'd have to plunge a little bit in order to get there. And if you notice right here, the citadel is below the waterline, which is kind of new for this line. Usually it sits slightly above, but it's slightly below. And so that's actually really, really helpful up close and personal. We are on the map Islands of Ice, and it is an epicenter game mode. I don't know if we featured one of these yet. This map is really hit or miss as far as whether you get epicenter or domination. But at least we're on a flank. We're not mid. Spawning mid on this map for this game mode is not easy to play. Unless you're in a destroyer, you're bound to get spotted really early, and depending on whichever way you turn, somebody's going to have a broadside near the very beginning of the map. So at least we have this. Our destroyer right here that spawned on the right side is just going to cut right across our bow, as you saw, and he's going to head into the middle to contest. That's where the destroyers are supposed to go, which means that it's left up to me to take on anything that may potentially venture out here on the flank on the right-hand side. So I'm making a really aggressive push up here because I want to use this big, huge block of ice that's right in front of me to block anything that may potentially be coming from mid, because I know that some destroyers are going to be pushing that way. Here we get spotted. Not quite sure which direction that we're getting spotted from, but it could be a destroyer. It could be a lower concealed cruiser. We take a shot at the Champagne way out there, and the Baltimore shows up. He's creeping right around the island, and he's got a Bismarck behind him, backing him up. It isn't quite ready to shoot at us, but this could be disastrous. And here we get hit with a double fire, and I'm not quite ready to put it out yet because it's still really early, and if he keeps HE spamming me, he's going to get another one. However, he gets a third, and I'm like, all right, that's enough. So we damage con using one of our 5, and we immediately heal, getting all of that back, which is you can heal back fire damage rather quickly. And the Bismarck, thankfully, decides to turn around and back off. If he would have pushed there, I think that would have made my day just a little bit harder, although we both have long-range secondaries. I believe mine are a little bit better. And so the Bismarck backs off, the Baltimore backs off, so that was a really ideal engagement for me. We get most of our health back. So now I'm just gonna kind of hold my position right here. I don't believe a destroyer is pushing around that far right side, and I just want to kind of sit here and kind of wait and see what develops. If the Baltimore decides to pop his nose back out to try and spot me and shoot me, I want to be in a position where I can make him pay for that. So that's why I'm kind of holding up shop right here. I want something to make a mistake. And I believe that I'm close enough to where my secondaries can cover the cap. Here we get spotted. Likely it's a destroyer. Not seeing exactly where it could be, but if you see on the mini-map, the Baltimore is pushing around that corner. So he could be the one that's spotting me. However, I haven't been shot at yet. And I'm still spotted. And now I can't see the Baltimore, and he can't see me. And we're shooting at the Iwami. He's not looking at us, so we're going to chime in with our outstanding epic secondaries. Haven't popped the secondary mod, and as you can see, we're getting fires pretty regularly with these secondaries because of the fire chance, because of Fuso. I believe that's really, really helped. And there we get another one. We switch to HE here because he's angled really, really well. I'm not going to be able to get any more damage with my AP as long as he's nose in. And if you saw my Iwami video, he's really tanky, so he can bounce my 16-inchers if I'm shooting him right there. However, he's getting focused by, it seems like, a lot more than just me. So he's not long for this world, and there he goes down for the first blood. So that's the first ship down. However, at this point, I was like, you know what? Something just doesn't seem right. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know exactly what it was. So I decided to go ahead and pop my hydro. And I'm glad I did, because bingo, there is the Udachi and the torpedoes that were coming right at me. I guess my spider sense was tingling a little bit. So we're backing up in here, and we are turning, and we dodge all those shells. However, this next set, which is not from the Udachi, something else is out here. So that's another torpedo, or another destroyer, gets hit on me with one torpedo, but and it does cause a flood, so we have to use our damage con. The Baltimore's still over there being annoying, but we've got that Udachi lit with our hydro, and if he stays there, he is stuck in that position for a full minute and 15 seconds. I'm just praying that he decides to be stupid and come out, but he keeps backing up. And I don't know if it was because he was stuck on the island. He was trying to maneuver his ship to be able to get into a better position. But he doesn't come fully out. We take a shot because I think we might be able to hit him. We don't, but we do get a defend. So I guess our splash damage was enough to reset a little bit there. But he's permalit, and he keeps hitting the island. He can't move. He's stuck. So as long as we have him spotted and lit up, we're holding him in that position. He knows that if he comes out, he's probably in a world of hurt. Even if he were to get his torpedoes off, there's a good chance that we dodge him, but he's going to get whacked by us if he decides to come out, which is the whole point of this German battleship line. It's so good up close that because of all the utility that it has, from the hydro to the secondaries, the secondary reload booster, the fast firing guns, and it's relatively tanky. It's not the tankiest battleship, but it's really, really strong up close. It can make an absolute mess of things. So if you're sitting in the back in these ships sniping from far range, you're doing it wrong. Here our hydro unfortunately runs out. We had him lit for a long time, and it seems like nobody was really able to take advantage of it, which was super unfortunate. And I don't have the utility now in my hydro. It's on cooldown for the next 2.5 minutes. However, the Tashkent pops up, but our main concern is this Udachi. I'm trying to get close enough to where I can proxy spot him. And then the Hayate shows up. So that was the one that had the torpedoes that hit us. So all three destroyers are right here. And this is where it can get fun if you don't get torped to death. But that's my concern, is that the Udachi, he's probably got his torpedoes back, and he could torpedo us right here. So I'm trying to nose in to mitigate it. And there we finally get him spotted. We take a shot at him, set him on fire, break a gun. Our secondaries are going off. He is lit up now. There's nothing he can do. He's got to push out because we're kind of encroaching on his backside. He comes out and gets whacked by the Bismarck, so yay, he's done. We take a nasty hit at the Tashkent, knock out some torpedoes. He's not long for this world either. Our secondaries, are they going to get him? Let's just shoot and take him out right here. We get a double fire against us. It's, again, a chaotic mess, and I love it. This is what this thing excels at. The Hayate is like, nope, I'm out. Get a fire for his troubles. We clear 2 destroyers, and we run the Hayate away. That's the respect that this ship gets. If you're not going to go toe-to-toe with it, you're going to get punished for it, and if you don't run away, you're done. And that is going to allow us to secure at least the inside and the second ring. The far outside cap, as you can see, they're still in it, so we can't cap those, but we're just a couple seconds away from getting the inner and the second ring right there. We get 2 of them. So now, even though the ship count is tied, we have the upper hand. So now it's just a matter of, can we survive? The Champagne's out here. He's backing up, going forward a little bit, so it looks like our guns aren't going to be reloaded quite enough in order for us to take a shot at him. But it looked like we were the only ones that was spotting him, because as soon as we crossed that island, he disappeared. So we're going to push back out and see if we can't get a little lucky with our spotting, because we do outspot them. And there the Bismarck and the Champagne pop up, and they are sailing across on the left-hand side. So I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Here we pick up the third cap. So now we control everything. Even if they go into the middle, they have to cap it in order to be able to generate any points. So my thought process here is, well, to kind of get away from them. We don't need to pursue them now. I did pursue and stay in the middle because I wanted to dissuade any destroyers from being able to be in that spot. I wanted to make it extremely uncomfortable for them. I believe we did our job in that. The Champagne and the Bismarck are, I guess they're not communicating very well. They're just running into each other, and that's just kind of funny to look at. Here we get spotted. It could be the destroyer, but the Baltimore pops up. Hey, Baltimore, you remember me? I remember you, and oh dear God, there's a bunch of torpedoes. So I'm guessing the Hayate came over here. So that's why I popped my Hydro, just in case he decides to shoot any more torpedoes at us while we focus this Baltimore with our guns and our secondaries. We have the secondary reload booster back, but I haven't popped it yet because if the destroyer pops up, I want to save all of that pain for him. I believe my secondaries are accurate enough, and they can hit enough in order to cause some fires against this Baltimore. This salvo right here was just really cattywampus. I mean, I aimed it really well, but man, those shells decided to go everywhere. And there is another set of torpedoes that was on the very, very far right-hand side. So I was like, how did the Hayate get all the way over there? So I'm really unsure where he's at this point. So I popped my secondary reload booster because I need to get this Baltimore out of here. And here the Champagne pops back up. And the Bismarck. They decided to turn all the way around to come back to me. Which, you know what? I guess is fine. From what I can surmise, 4 of the remaining 5 ships are out here. And they're on the edge in the far back of the map. There we get to take out the Baltimore, and now we have these battleships to contend with, but they're so far out of position, even if they take me out, I'm just going to try and stall them as best I could. I don't think I can survive against both of these guys. I can try to angle a little bit. The Champagne has 16-inch shells, so I can't technically bow tank him. I can bow tank the Bismarck if he's shooting AP, but I can't bow tank the Champagne. And I'm still unsure of where the Hayate is. And there my Hydra runs out. We no longer have that as a consumable for the rest of the game. So I'm kind of at the mercy of both these ships. I'm approaching this island, and I'm trying to decide, do I stay bow into these guys and meet my untimely doom that's inevitable at this point, or do I push into the cap? There, the Champagne shoots waterline, and the shell hits my icebreaker bow, which is great. Otherwise, he could have punched right through. There he does punch right through, and then the Bismarck finishes me off. So I'm done. My game's over, and we're actually down in ships at this point. So I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I don't think this was a mistake. We do have all the caps. We've generated a lot of points. We've got a full health Kutuzov out here that's been able to shoot these guys while they've been focusing me. If we take a look at the ships on the far side of the map, they got another Bismarck way out there. And our destroyer, who is the black, is still alive. However, the Hayate is flipping the middle cap. So that's where he went. While we were where we were, the Hayate decided to go around all of us and make his way into the middle and the center of the cap. Our black is shooting at the remaining Iwami, and so now the ship count is tied. Our Bismarck is pushing into the mid. However, he's going up against a Hayate that he really can't see, and he's low on health, so any torpedo against him is not going to be great. And but he's got to survive these salvos that are coming in from these battleships first. He's so low at this point that the Hayate decides to open up and shoot at him. He does have a high enough DPM that it's not too much of a threat. So that was the right play given the situation. However, it's far too late. The score is it is what it is. We have well over 200 points. Even if they cap all these caps, there's not enough time to flip everything. They have to kill all of our ships. So unless we absolutely screw the pooch here, we're going to win this match. I really like the Zieten. It's got really fantastic guns. The AP on it is decent. Only 6 of them can hurt, and the way that they're mounted is a little weird and unique. However, with that rear turret being able to swing 360 degrees, kind of makes up a little bit for that. If that back turret had to swing all the way around, I think it would be less fun. But you can really put a lot of hurting on ships. This whole line just has that ability. And so there we finish out the game. We win. So GG to everybody involved. That's a look at the Zieten. It's such a fun ship. This whole line is fun. It just keeps getting more fun as you climb up the ladder. We don't get top of the leaderboard, but that's okay. It's about making an impact in the game, and I felt that we did that, especially with taking out those 2 destroyers and staving off the 3rd one. Really paved the way for our team to win in that match. So GG to everybody involved again. Thank you so very much, guys, for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. We're going to be taking a look at the Prince Rupert next, the tier 8. I'm really excited for that one. And then right after that is the legendary Schlieffen, which is stupid fun. So if you haven't started researching that, I highly suggest you do, especially if you enjoy any part of this line. It is the creme de la creme of fun in this. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Fair winds and fair seas, Captains, and I will see you in the next one. This is the USS Endeavor, signing off.